I'm here at OK 4-Wheel Drive, and I'm going to convert this 2-sleep weekender into a 4-sleep family camping expedition vehicle. What? It just keeps going. Oh my gosh. All right, as many of you guys know already, we are big fans of Alu-Cab, and we've had a lot of Alu-Cab products on our trucks. This is the ModCap. This was the version 2.0 per se to the Canopy Camper line. And it is called the ModCap because it's modular, right? Some of you may not really understand what that means, but that gives you the ability to adapt the base to either have a flat roof, a 2-sleep top, which is on the truck right now, or convert your top to a 4-sleep and sleep 4 people, your entire family, your animals and everything on a mid-sized truck, which is really impressive. So what we're gonna do here at this visit is show you what's involved with removing the 2-sleep top and putting a 4-sleep top on this Tacoma. Let's climb in here and take a look. All right, so inside of a mid-size Alu-Cab ModCap, it's fairly spacious, right? I'm unzipping the windows right now to give us a little bit of light. Fairly spacious in here. As you can see below us, we have these Goose Gear V2 modules in here, which are pretty awesome for kind of keeping everything organized. Nice sitting spot for changing our ski boots. We use this as our kind of mobile ski chalet. You know, we've got the Dickinson propane fireplace here. We've got the GP Factor power board with the Red Arc TVMS. You know, AC power here too. We've got a wrap-on and a Blue Ridge Overland gear bag. We've got the 13-gallon water tank. And then over in this area over here, we have a pump for taking a shower. So we've got a shower cube on the outside, an awning on the outside over here. There's plenty of room in here for 2 adults to comfortably sit and enjoy themselves, even if you have a child or potentially a dog too. Or if you're yourself with like 3 dogs. I mean, there's plenty of room in here. What is a little limiting for the amount of people that can hang out in this space is the sleeping quarters, right? So I have the roof lifted up right now. The bed platform over here is lifted up. The bed platform over here is lifted up. So this separates, right? The roof of this separates from the roof over here and kind of opens away from each other. So it gives you a lot of use of the space standing up. You're a little limited over here because of shoulder space, and over here I'm not. I mean, I'm 5'11" and I've got good clearance here, but as anybody knows with these Alu-Cab Canopy Campers or ModCaps, especially in the 2-sleep here, you know, I'm 5'11" and I'm reaching up as high as I can and I still got another foot above me. So there's plenty of space in here. What we want to do, or what's concerning for us is, you know, my wife, myself, our large Chesapeake Bay Retriever, and my son, who's going to be 11 this year. Oh my gosh, time is flying. But where are all of us going to sleep? So we need a larger space, and thankfully, because this is a ModCap, I don't have to replace the base of this camper. This base is all its own, you know, separate piece, and then this top is bolted to it. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove this 2-sleep top, which they call the camper top at Alu-Cab, and replace it with a family top, which will give us all of the use of this space plus an additional room for 2 people to sleep. In this module, we sleep from front to back, right? In the Alu-Cab family camper top for the ModCap, it goes side to side, so we can sleep 4 adults. So I think it's going to give us a lot of space and a lot of room to use in the back of this truck as we consider going on some 30-day adventures this year, working remotely and seeing some of the country. So that's really going to give us the ability to be able to use this space and all of us sleep comfortably. We'll show you more of what that looks like a little bit later. All right, I know we're taking this thing off, but if you want to see how we installed it, I can share a link in the description below, or maybe put a card up top here so you can click on it. But there are 40 or 50 bolts that hold this thing on, right? And what we need to do first is take the nuts and the washers off. Okay, so I've had to remove all the bolts but the 4 corners because I'm gonna need a couple hands to lift this thing off, obviously, if not maybe a forklift. I don't know yet, but I think we're gonna be able to separate this thing. We're gonna figure that out. It's easier if you take the bed out, the bedding out, the mattress out. I still have the mattress for the kind of small bed partition over here. And you're gonna have to remove all of these nice protective channel covers. A couple extra steps we forgot, and as soon as I pulled the camera out, everybody disappeared. I suddenly had like 4 people helping me. But what we did over here on the power board is we disconnected all of the wiring that we had set up and pushed that back through, and are leaving it kind of nested in the channels up here for the next owner. I only have 2 bolts left towards the front above the water tank that are holding the camper on, or the top on. And then we are going to drive this thing outside. Excited to get this off here and get the new family camper on. All right, let's get this thing closed up and take it outside, and we're gonna get the forklift and lift it off the truck. We're gonna use the forklift and cheat this a little bit. 2 eye bolts on the other side, we're just gonna lift that up.
I mean, we've done it on ours, but we went from 4-sleeper to 4-sleeper.
4-sleeper to 4-sleeper.
Yeah, we went from prototype to new.
Yeah.
So prototype to production, I should say.
Plan right now is here. We're gonna give it a little bit of a tug and see if this will lift up. We've only got a really thin layer of Sikaflex on there, and this thing's only been on the truck for about 6 to 8 months or so.
Gotta break this.
All right, I'm gonna give you a quick update because I gotta help get this off the top of the camper. We used a little bit of Sika. We maybe used a little bit too much. I don't know yet. But it's really important when you try to lift this off that you use these side rails and not use the top rails. But we are making progress. Our friend Sean's here with us, John and Tim's on the forklift. So I'm gonna get back to it. Wish us luck.
It's modulating, is what's happening.
Yeah, it's literally just here. Here, let's move.
I think there's probably just...
It's just right, it's right. It's only this corner.
Yeah, watch the chimney.
Yeah, I gotta go straight up now, guys.
He's going straight up.
This side's good, I can push it.
Watch that tent strap. Make sure it doesn't catch on something.
Okay.
Just go over the chimney and then angle it for yourself.
Pull it all the way back, Timmy.
Alright, I'm gonna tilt back now.
Yeah, all the way.
What do you think, John?
It's very modular.
It's very modular.
Incredibly modular.
I'm gonna back up and straighten up.
You just got to be slow and think about everything. There's a couple hidden bolts towards the front that you really need to be looking out for, but a little bit of shoving back and forth and you're going to get this thing lifted off your truck. We're going to move the Tacoma in here, do a little bit of grilling and have a couple beers, and then start where we left off tomorrow. We got the roof off yesterday, and we were standing in the back of my 2020 Tacoma inside of a ModCap base. So I wanted to kind of show you what this looks like before we put the new top on it. There's tracks all the way around for the bolts, and then tracks on the inside for accessories. So the idea behind this is that you buy a base that fits 3 different tops, right? There's a flat top option that goes on here and creates similar to what we have for the contour canopy. And then there's a 2-sleep model, which is called the camper top. And that is what I had on my truck and we took off. And then there's the family tent. The family tent sleeps 4 people. 2 people sleep in the 2-person camper top front to back. And in the family camper, 4 people sleep across. So 3 really unique options for 1 modular camper. All right, we got a really fun day here. It's been a very slow process, but we've had all week. Like I said, we're trying to get work done. I'm doing web stuff with OK 4-wheel drive these days. Dan has joined us. He's just coming in the door. We're gonna be working on his Dodge Rebel at some point starting today and actually tomorrow. And he's got a build that he's doing. We'll be sharing a little bit with that on YouTube. Last night we worked to prep some of the surface. We had a very little amount of Sika on here just to seal up some of these grooves and close these channels off. Always make sure that you go in and find all of the bolts. Make sure you remove all of the nuts. We had 3 people go through here to check for nuts that we hadn't taken off, and we all missed it, but there is a plate that holds the tent on right here, and underneath that lip there is a nut there and a nut there. So once we got this thing to finally break loose and lift off, it was kind of stuck here. And we thought it might be due to the Sika, but there was actually a nut still on the bolts. So we got everything laid out so we know where it needs to be. We've got lots of bolts, right? I'm excited about these overhangs, right? So these overhang supports, these will go over the cab, but this is the first bit of color that we've seen from Alu-Cab on their products. Really excited about that. And we're gonna move the solar panel over from my tent top, my camper tent top, my ModCap top that I used to have on here, the 2-sleep model. We're gonna move that solar panel and load bars over, but I'm gonna have to turn that solar panel, I believe. So yeah, lots to do here, and we're gonna get it done today. Well, I'm just working in the back there, and I came out here and somebody's doing all my work for me.
Just getting the mounting brackets in place for the new family tent.
Yeah.
Trying to make sure we get them in the right orientation before we get it all Sika'd up, so we're not getting too messy in here.
I'll show you what it looks like. Yeah, what's kind of unique about the family top is that all of the fastening is done from the inside of the rail. On the 2-sleep top, have they modified that at all, or there's still all of the bolts going through the top?
No, it still uses like 40 to 50 bolts, depending on your configuration from the top, whereas the family, like you mentioned, will secure from the inside of the T-track.
So yeah, John's figuring this piece out, and then what we'll do is we'll throw a thin layer of Sika underneath the rubber strips, let those set, and then we'll be ready to put the top on, right?
Yep.
In theory?
Should be pretty close.
Yep, we'll see how it goes. All right, we've moved into some more sheltered space here at OK. We're in the shipping warehouse section of the shop, and we're unboxing the family top for our ModCap. Woo! Can't wait to hit some bugs. I really like the profile of it. I mean, it has the same kind of lines here, but you know, having this kind of cut in from the side, having the side profile gives it a really nice appearance.
We are currently lifting the 4-sleep top into the air so that we can then back Jason's camper back underneath and mate the 2 pieces together. We're mating. What's your mating call?
All right, she's on. I don't know why it has to be a she, but it is. It's on. It's just resting at the moment. We need to get it moved over to the showroom, and then we're gonna anchor some of the clamps on. But, similar experience to putting the 2-sleeper on or the regular camper top. A lot less bolts. A lot less bolts. So cool to be able to put the same tent top on so many different models of trucks. Truck campers anyway. So we've had some pizza for lunch. It was really good. Here's what's going on around the truck right now. I went and grabbed the camera. John is working on some of the filler pieces here up front. Ren is also working on the filler pieces on this side, and this plate will actually open up a little bit later when they accessorize it for a table slide. So the table will actually slide into here. So you don't even have to have the table there just to fill up that space. If you just wanted to keep it dead and not do the table, you could. But Tim is tightening up some bolts. I'm gonna get back to what I was working on. We finished up the back mounting straps here. There's 3 of them. John did one up front. Still have to kind of play around with the GP board here, and then these brackets on the inside. That's probably about as far as we'll get today, and then tomorrow is going to be some wiring. We got a fun little project here too from our buddy Sean Kalatuka, good photographer in town and close friend of Ren's, and he's gotten into overlanding, and he's got a pretty cool light here too. I wanted to show you guys. So this is an LED light pole, right? So it actually permanently mounts to, or semi-permanently mounts to the top of the truck, somewhat like that. So when we get to camp, we can angle this light up, open the camper, and it'll stand vertical so we can get kind of some scene lighting going around the campsite to kind of brighten things up as we're setting up for camp at night. It also helps for bugs in kind of buggy atmospheres. So Sean will be with us tomorrow afternoon helping to kind of install that last piece and talk about that product a little bit. But everything's going together pretty smooth. We got Dan and Ryan, our Fitz is in there working away, and we've got this team in here, so things are good. Good morning, we're in the shop here. No chance we're gonna stay any longer. It has to get done. One of the kind of the new things here with these overhangs, at least on the double cab Tacoma, is the fit and finish is really nice. You've got this long support here, and then you've got kind of a valance or a fairing that goes across the front to kind of fill the gap a little bit and divert air. But this thing is freaking enormous, right? We had a good time last night, having some burgers, grilling out, visiting with everybody around the campfire. But we're gonna knock this out. Sean Kalatuka, one of our friends up here in New England, he is making these lights that we could put up on top of the camper. And then at some point this afternoon, we're gonna be going out and going camping. We've got a mess of people coming in today to visit, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. So let's get back to work. What's up, man? How are you?
How's it going, Jason?
Good to see you.
You too.
All right, so we've heard a lot about this light. Tell me about why you made it first.
So I made a light that I didn't want to store in my truck. I didn't want to take more stuff out. I kind of want it simple, easy. So basically all we're gonna do is it's bolt on. It's got a quick fist clamp. You bolt it on, pull a pin, and then slide it up to what angle you need it, which is built for the family camper, regular camper, or basically any tent. And then it sticks up straight. And what it does is it creates very little shadow on your campsite. So when you're walking around, you don't trip on stuff, you got nothing in your way, you got no lights to put away in the morning. You just, when they close your tent, you just put it down and that's it. Basically it's powered by any 12 volt, takes like 1 or 2 amps. Rock lights are waterproof, everything's waterproof. Basically you would just wire it, or I can give an extension that's like a 6 to 10 foot extension depending on what you need, and it basically you can just unplug it here and then plug it back in when you get to camp. You have a remote you can turn it on and off with, or you can hook it up to your switch panel, which we're going to do today for Jason. It's all made out of stainless with an aluminum pipe, so if anything does happen, you hit a branch that's a little too thick, which I've done plenty of times and mine's never touched, but a friend of ours ran it into a garage and he basically just bent the pipe, so we just cut the pipe a little shorter, put a new bolt in, and that's it. My whole goal is to kind of simplify how much people need in their vehicles. People have fridges, kids, dogs, whatever you have in your car. You don't really want to take up more space. You don't want to take things out when you get to camp. You kind of want to just set up tent, have a fire, start cooking food, have a beer with a friend, and that's about it. A couple more projects here left. Fitz is working on the hinging mechanism for the door, upgrading that. But I'm gonna work with Sean here, get this installed, and then we're heading out in the woods to go camping. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go up here, pop the cap off. Ooh. And then all we're gonna do, since he's got the load bars, we're just gonna slide the bolts in. And we'll probably, I forget where we're gonna put this one, but I think we're gonna leave that right there loose for now. And then we'll go put the quick fist on the other side. And basically we're just gonna put it right up at the top bolt right here. So we just have to pull the load bar cap off. And they work without load bars too. You can do the carriage bolt with the M8, just how mine's mounted. All right, and then we'll slide this in. This is gonna need a socket, but we'll tighten that after. And then we'll get to the other side, tighten it down, and then we'll tighten this one. All right, so now we're just gonna tighten all these bolts. So basically what happens is you pull it out of the quick fist. For this and for the family camper, we're gonna go at a 60-degree angle. And it'll be right there. And that's exactly where it'll be, straight up and down on the family camper when he parks. And that's it, and then we'll have a nice camp light. Any tent system that has any type of rail, I can custom make the brackets, so if your tent's not 30 degrees or 60 degrees like these, you can do that. And basically it'll just work with anything as long as you got a power source. And I do cigarette outlets for most of them, but we're gonna hardwire this one, so it'll be nice and easy for him to turn on and off. And then that's it. And then when you wanna set it down, you just go like this. Open that fist from the other side and then throw it in there, and that's it. So I'm just gonna drill a hole right next to the solar panel right here, which has this nice cover that goes over it anyway, and then wire will be all hidden, you won't even notice it. There you go.
Okay, good clean install here, through hole connection, following kind of the factory wiring. I'm gonna put the power board back up, and we're gonna get the connection made. And roll out of here, get to camp. I'll show you what this looks like a little bit later. We are in like power sports heaven here in West Virginia right now at Kairos Resort near Glen Lynn. The ModCap's done. The wiring took a little bit to figure out, was not overly complicated. A lot of the color leads that come out of the wiring harness for the family camper were easily integrated in there. The only important thing that I will note is the pink lead is now the new ground. So the blue ground on all of the other harnesses is terminated. That caught me up for a second, but once we figured it out and looked at the diagram, it made total sense. All right, give you a little guidance on this. What I've done is I've taken my light wire that comes out like right here, and I've gone through here. So you had to take this off. And then I've gone above my chimney, and I'm using this like rubber stuff, this rubber fitting stuff. I think the instructions have you actually take it down this, which you can, that's totally up to you. But then I'm just kind of sneaking up here. This will all get covered over by this Velcro flap. And then you just kind of repeat that, right? You just put the wire underneath this rubber strip, go over top of the connection points, and just kind of work from there all the way around. I imagine there's another one here too, so that's what we're going to do, and then hopefully plug it up over here. The aluminized fabric on top of the tent helps to kind of keep the tent cool when the sun comes out in the morning. If you want the sun to come in, you just open the skylight, and then it's just warm, it's welcoming. There's tons of natural light in here, which was fantastic. Lots of windows here. We've got a window on either side, and then a big window on the front. The spring rods can easily be put on the tent from the inside or the outside if you're tall enough, right? The whole vestibule is designed to unzip in case it needs to be replaced, in case you tear something, rip something, which is really nice. But the whole structure of the camper top itself is that double wall canvas that Alu-Cab is known for. There's a heater vent, air conditioner vent on either side. I don't think I'm ever gonna have to worry about that in this climate. The Dickinson heater has done really good to keep that total space warm. I think with the 2-sleep top, a lot of that warmth was getting trapped up in the upper pocket, and none of that heat was staying down the bottom. So it's been working really well here on the camper. You'll get 2 of these supports on a full size, and we're getting one on here. So really straightforward to open and close that. You just give a little tug down here, and then that pops out, right? So, and then you give 2 hands on here, clicks into place. It's a really nice feature. There's some things that I'm still learning about setting this thing up, but one modification that we did make to the tent itself was we put a shock cord around the whole thing. A lot of the campers that Alu-Cab has, their tents and things like that, have a shock cord to help kind of collect the fabric as you're closing it. And it just made a lot of sense. All right, before we explain everything to you, this is the shock cord that we've replaced those nylon straps with. What I want to do after it's open is I want to take it over that ridge, right? And just hang it underneath the overhang. Same thing on the back of the tent too. Where the nylon attaches right here, there's already a bolt and a track. I used stainless eyelets to connect my shock cord to. I started with 20 feet of shock cord. I ran through here, melted the ends, and then put hog clips on there with the hog clip pliers, stainless too. So because I've been experimenting here, I actually have this temporarily tied off. But I said starting with 20 feet, I think we're going to be somewhere around 14 feet. The easiest way to measure this off is to go in ahead and install your eyelets. And then when the platform is folded up, you want enough slack in there that's just lightly touching the tent all the way around, and I'll show you what that looks like. All right, now it is time to put the camper away. Take the shock cord, put it up in its position, and then always make sure the strap is behind the shock cord. That helps you pull tension. Now we're gonna close it up, right? So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take and we're gonna close this platform. Just let that fall into place. You can see already that we've got a nice angle there. It's already collecting the fabric. And then this is what it looks like on the back side. But what we're gonna wanna do is climb up on the back, and we're gonna lift that shock cord to about the middle position here of the tent fabric. Definitely a two-hand job to do that. Can't do it with the GoPro, but this is what it'll look like right here. Do the same thing on the back. All right, here's where you want the shock cord, right? And again, like I said, it's really loose right now. I mean, there's not a lot of tension on that. So when you're measuring length, you'll need to drape it across, you know, in this type of manner, so you got a little bit of sag to it, maybe even taut, but just not stretched tight, because you got to stretch it a lot. Next step is we're going to grab the orange strap. Now, just like the tents and the canopy campers, I'm going to pull this strap. It's going to pull tension on that elastic strap, and we're going to close the tent. Okay, we'll walk around and show you what the result is. Just a little bit out front, but we get that on the canopy campers. All the way around the back. It's good as new. All right, yeah, we are in definitely camping mode right now after our first guided trip of the year. But as you can see, it's just, there's tons of headroom in here, right? These two hatches work independently, right? So I can open one and leave one closed, and we'll show you what that looks like. In this mode right now, full hatch mode is what I'll call it. Both of these are up, and I've got total working living use out of this space, right? So with the goose ear cabinets, it's really nice as a step to step up, or a seat to sit down on, a bench, something like that. On this trip that we've done here, I have just left this in this kind of full hatch mode, right? And I've slept over here on what you would consider a twin bed, or a slightly larger twin bed. Behind you is a whole nother platform here for your feet to hang over. The skylight is open right now, but this will actually zip. The clear part is on the rainfly, the mesh is on the tent, and then there's another canvas zipper. But that canvas piece that zips is also aluminized, right? That's what actually reflects the heat back, so it doesn't heat up the camper. I'm up top right now. This is how I basically slept each night, right? I actually replaced the foam with 3-inch foam material from Walmart, and then I put yoga pads or ridge rests underneath of it to break down that hardness, but it's really nice and soft now. This is the power station for the top of the tent. There's one on either side, the front or the back here. You've got USB-C, USB, fast charging ports here. You've got a 12 volt, and you've got a switch that'll actually control, you know, your lighting once everything's wired up. I can leave that switch on, I can charge, I can turn this light off. Everything's integrated through my RedArc Red Vision, so it's really nice when I'm up here and ready for bed and I want to turn something off, I can turn the whole system off from my phone. It's lots of pockets. As you can see here, there's 6 pockets here, but when we show you the other side, there's 6 pockets over there too. This noise dampening type ceiling, mesh ceiling, is just a fantastic new feature for the ModCap family. I'm learning a little bit about putting this thing away, but having that shock cord around the outside is really helping. So I'm back down here on the floor again. I want to show you how these hatches work, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and close this thing all the way down for now. to give you an idea of what we're looking at, right? Because this is all the way down, right? But if I need to get up in there, or if I've got 3 people sleeping, I'm gonna need to leave one of these down. So the beauty of that is I can just open the single, right? That gives us even more access up here to the top, where you've got all of this room for all, you know, for people to sleep in pretty much any direction at this point. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open up full hatch again. Right, so really easy to do, got some options. We do have an LED light up top here as well. So that's the Alu-Cab ModCap family camper. The whole process of taking the 2-sleep top off and putting the family camper on was not that involved. Definitely helps to have a forklift and a couple buddies. I didn't know what to think when I got this thing. I just knew it was going to be big, and I'm totally pleased with the product. I've got everything pretty dialed in, so I can close this thing up pretty quick and stay on track with all the rest of the campers and be ready to go when it's time to go. But we're going to love this thing even more the more we use it.